This anime is about a boy who gets into unexpected situations with his teacher, from being stuck in the bathroom to being in his room together. His fellow classmates also get inspired and improve their friendship with other teachers. Sato, an ordinary young man, values his personal space, finding solace in the school bathroom. However, one day he encounters his teacher, Kojima, in the men's restroom, leaving him shocked and frozen. Kojima is known as a demon because of her strictness. She not only scolds the students but parents as well if they try to interfere. Despite this situation, she remains calm, saying that it's because the door lock is broken. Despite initial tension, she lets Sato off with a warning, but only if he leaves immediately. However, the door refuses to budge, trapping them together. As Sato faces the formidable teacher, he worries about the consequences. Sato screams for help, but Kojima stops him, silencing him to avoid rumors. Suddenly, other students enter the bathroom and Sato thinks that this is his chance to get away. As he is about to run away, she pulls him in and presses his face against her huge melons, emphasizing secrecy. Sato thinks they are so big and soft. Time passes, and Kojima is unable to hold back, leading to her releasing her fluids. A week later, Sato can't shake off the memory. Visiting the school infirmary to skip class, he finds Kojima weakened by illness. She asks him to hand her medicine, however the medicine he finds is given through an unconventional hole. Despite awkwardness, Kojima tells him to proceed. Suddenly another teacher comes and Sato has to hide under the sheets with her melons. Once they're alone, the demon thanks him affectionately for what he did, but apologizes because she'll probably infect him with the cold. Indeed, the next day, Sato falls ill while he's in the infirmary, and the teacher comes to visit him, again apologizing for infecting him. This attitude makes Sato change the way he sees the teacher. But seconds later, she harshly scolds him because she knows he lied about twisting his ankle the day before to skip class. Sato is on his way home from school when a strong storm prevents him from continuing in the rain. To take shelter, he decides to enter the first place he finds, which happens to be a laundromat. He is surprised to see that the teacher, Kojima, is also a victim of the storm and has taken refuge there. Sato notices that Kojima is soaked and asks her why she doesn't take advantage of the dryers in the place to dry her clothes and be able to go home. Kojima points out that it's the only clothing she has, so if she does that, she'll be left with nothing. Sato offers to give her his shirt while she dries hers. Kojima thanks him and changes, however, the storm worsens, and a lightning strike causes a power outage in the laundromat, making it impossible to continue drying the clothes. They decide to look for the switch to turn the lights back on. Kojima climbs on Sato's shoulders to reach the switch, which is almost on the ceiling, but another lightning strike sounds, and Kojima, who is terrified of lightning, begins to wobble and ends up pouring laundry detergent all over herself. Sato tries to hold her but his hands end up slipping, grabbing the teacher's soft melons. Seeing that they can't continue this way, Sato tries to climb on Kojima's shoulders, but then she realizes that something is poking her from behind. Kojima gets angry, and they have to find another way to solve the problem. Another day, Sato heads to his mother's house to find the surprise that Kojima is babysitting his little sister. Sato asks his teacher what she's doing there, and she explains that she's an acquaintance of his mother and that his mother helped her a lot in the past, so to return the favor, she offered to take care of the child. While chatting, Kojima tells him that she's not good with kids, and that her family pressures her to get married, which she finds challenging. Although she has low standards, all she wants is someone young who cares about others and likes children. She literally describes Sato, so both of them blush embarrassedly and clarify that it won't happen. Later, the girl wants to use the swimming pool, into the pool, and both Sato and Kojima rush to save her from hitting the ground. They simultaneously lift her up, preventing her from touching the ground, but their combined momentum and speed inadvertently lead to a kiss. Both remain flushed for an extended period. That night, Sato's mother jokingly suggests Kojima as a potential daughter-in-law, and although Kojima dismisses the idea, she can't help but ponder their unexpected kiss. Another day, Sato enters his room, expecting to find his cherished gaming haven, but instead he discovers Kojima sitting there. she suggests he organize his cluttered space, pointing out his scattered clothes. Sato is astonished by their unexpected encounter. Even in his own room, Kojima explains that Sato's mother invited her to wait there. At that moment, Sato's mother enters the room with refreshments, announcing a celebration for Kojima's new residence. After consuming a single sip of liquor, Kojima becomes intoxicated. Later, Kojima comments that during the move, she found a photo album featuring herself, Sato's mother, and a young Sato. She reminisces about her introverted past and how Sato's conversation inspired her to pursue a teaching career. Although she doesn't know that the child was Sato, Kojima treasures the memory. When Sato's mother reveals the truth, Kojima hugs Sato, expressing gratitude. Sato's mother suggests their union, causing Sato discomfort. Intoxicated, Kojima agrees to new experiences with Sato, requesting he address her informally outside school. Sato's mother leaves them alone, and Kojima insists on a kiss, which Sato declines due to her inebriated state. Eventually, she initiates a kiss and falls asleep. The next day, they cross paths at school, and Sato addresses her informally in front of students, earning a public reprimand. Sato assumes she's forgotten their encounter, but Kojima blushes, pleased by the informal address, albeit only outside school. Some acquaintances of Sato's mother invite her and her family to celebrate a wedding on a tropical beach. Sato is astonished when they arrive and finds Kojima playing with his sister. When he inquires about her presence, his mother explains that, since the father couldn't attend due to work, she seized the opportunity to invite Kojima. She continues to hint that Kojima will soon become a family member when Sato and Kojima get married. Sato is perplexed by his mother's persistence and tired of his hesitation. She points out that Kojima has repeatedly demonstrated her affection for him. Sato struggles to believe that his teacher harbors feelings for him, despite his own emotions for her. His mother leaves them alone to confess their feelings, but Sato is too embarrassed to face Kojima after his mother's words. Nevertheless, they venture to a secluded spot to jump into the river, and Kojima asks Sato to apply sunscreen on her back. As he does, Sato ponders the possibility of Kojima's affection and accidentally vocalizes his thoughts. Kojima, equally distracted, responds affirmatively, and they both become flustered. Kojima jumps into the river but soon feels a biting sensation and rushes out. They notice a warning sign about venomous snakes and panic. Sato decides to suck out the venom to prevent harm. Finally, the wedding arrives and Sato suggests returning to the tropical island alone with Kojima after his graduation. Initially, Kojima blushes, but then scolds him for poor timing. On the way back, Kojima shares her wonderful experience with another teacher, Mayu, and later chats happily with Sato over the phone. Mayu gazes at Kojima with a nostalgic expression, harboring secret feelings for Suzuki, Sato's close friend. Unfortunately, she lacks even his contact information. Sato reveals to Suzuki that he recently began a romantic relationship with Professor Kojima, leaving his friend astonished and disbelieving that anyone would date the formidable teacher, let alone his own friend. This development saddens Suzuki deeply, as he will no longer share meals with Sato, who will now dine with Kojima instead. Suzuki's tough exterior makes it challenging for him to form friendships, as his peers fear him. Seizing the opportunity, Mayu approaches Suzuki, who eats alone, and suggests they share a meal together. Suzuki inquires if she, too, fears him like everyone else, but Mayu assures him that teachers should never be intimidated by their students. This response excites Suzuki. As they exchange lunches, Mayu discovers Suzuki's passion for culinary arts. However, their pleasant moment is interrupted when Mayu accidentally plunges into the water fountain, becoming soaked. Suzuki assists her, navigating some awkward moments. Due to the embarrassment, they decide to finish their meal there. Before parting, Suzuki offers Mayu his sweater to wear, as her clothes are drenched from the fountain. Later, in the locker room, Kojima notices Mayu wearing Suzuki's sweater and inquires about her feelings for him. Mayu doesn't deny her emotions, citing professional boundaries, but Kojima detects her affection. Mayu finds Suzuki's train pass in the sweater and decides to return it, ensuring he has a way home. Instead, she joins him on the train, and they travel together. The crowded train ride becomes uncomfortable, with Mayu's blouse unexpectedly coming undone. Suzuki promptly covers her to maintain her modesty amidst the crowd. Mayu recalls the day she met Suzuki, when she was running late for a teaching exam due to traffic. Desperate, she decided to sprint to the high school, but her shoe broke, and she dropped her papers. Overwhelmed, she burst into tears, only to be rescued by Suzuki, who appeared and offered to carry her to the exam on his back, ensuring her early arrival. Since then, Mayu has harbored feelings for Suzuki due to his kind nature. Preparations for the Kan-Numa festival are underway at school, where Suzuki, Mayu, and the student treasurer meet with students and teachers to discuss organizational matters. They encounter Taka, a responsible student, and his teacher, Hikari, who exhibits an unusual energy and treats Taka like a sibling. Taka retreats to his room, determined to perfect his preparations, but finds Hikari occupying his bed, claiming her home's heating system is malfunctioning. Despite initial resistance, Hikari convinces Taka to share the bed, revealing their long-standing connection since childhood, as their parents worked together, and Hikari often cared for Taka. As Taka tries to escape Hikari's grasp, her strength as a gym teacher overwhelms him, and she falls asleep, trapping him. Upon freeing himself, Taka notices Hikari's exposed skin and attempts to cover her, leading to an awkward situation. Hikari awakens, calmly addressing the incident, but Taka is distressed, feeling she still treats him like a child despite his high school status. Later, Hikari forces Taka to accompany her to purchase underwear, emphasizing his newfound adulthood. AKA is utterly humiliated and eager to leave, but Hikari won't let him. To expedite the process, Taka hastily selects an outfit with his eyes closed and hands it to Hikari. The revealing attire embarrasses Taka, and in a mishap, he escorts Hikari out of the fitting room wearing only underwear and a jacket. After the awkward encounter, they seek refreshments, putting the incident behind them. Later, Taka's class embarks on a forest hike, but he's uncomfortable due to the earlier events. Hikari's joke catches Taka off guard, and he accidentally falls into a river. Hikari tries to rescue him but also falls in, and a sudden rainstorm forces them to seek shelter in a nearby cave. As hypothermia sets in, Taka becomes delirious, leading to awkward moments between the friends. Once Taka warms up and falls asleep, he wakes to find himself on Hikari's lap, realizing she's been caring for him as she did in childhood. This sparks Taka's confession of his long-held feelings for Hikari, leaving her speechless. At the school festival, Suzuki expects a solitary day, but Mayu, disguised as a student, joins him. Hikari teases Mayu, suggesting her actions reveal her feelings for Suzuki, which Mayu denies. Hikari promotes a game of cops and robbers, and playfully handcuffs Mayu, leading to a series of awkward situations as they search for the key. Mayu asks Suzuki if he overheard her conversation with Hikari, and he denies it, though he actually did. As they try to open the handcuffs, Suzuki apologizes for constantly causing trouble for Mayu. Mayu, recalling his previous words, assures him that his actions don't bother her. Seized by the moment, Mayu confesses her feelings to Suzuki, who is stunned and feels guilty about crossing the student-teacher boundary. Suzuki reconsiders his stance on relationships after observing Taka and Sato's connections. A nighttime visit to the eerie old institution building is part of the festival events. To prevent issues, Taka and the treasurer are assigned to guard the premises. Nari, feeling envious, plans to hide and startle them, but gets trapped under the floorboards. Taka and the treasurer discover her, and while assisting, Taka falls underground. He helps Hikari by lifting her legs, but her excessive water consumption necessitates an urgent bathroom visit. Mortified, Hikari requests a bucket, which Taka provides. The treasurer returns with Suzuki, rescuing Hikari without revealing the embarrassing incident. Taka, humiliated, avoids eye contact with Hikari. Nari thinks she has crossed a boundary, and they can't interact anymore. Taka is too embarrassed to face Hikari. The next day, the treasurer mentions a bear-costumed individual causing trouble, yet ultimately reconciling couples. Mayu seeks the bear to propose to Suzuki, but mistakenly hugs him, thinking it's the bear. Suzuki reveals his financial instability and lack of foresight, but expresses willingness to marry Mayu in the future. Meanwhile, Taka discovers Hikari is the bear. After finding her, he confesses his love, and Hikari, blushing, reciprocates, claiming Taka as her possession. Tanaka, a waiter, boasts about getting a girlfriend after graduation to join double dates with the three couples. He confidently states that he will get a girlfriend in 3 months. Tanaka's attempts to interact with his crush, Takaba, are hindered by her distant nature and his own awkwardness. One day, while preoccupied, Tanaka accidentally collides with Takaba, spilling coffee on her. Takaba, known for her reserved demeanor, remains stoic despite the mishap. As Tanaka fetches a spare shirt, Takaba removes her soaked one, revealing her undershirt. Tanaka tries to avert his gaze but slips and falls onto Takaba, leading to an uncomfortable yet intimate moment. Takaba's usual composure falters, and she becomes flustered, pushing Tanaka away. Later, Takaba tends to Tanaka's bruises from the fall, but he hastily departs. Seeking advice on kindness, Takaba confides in a colleague about her growing interest in Tanaka. On Christmas Day, Tanaka finds Takaba waiting for him, dressed festively and holding a video recorder. She shares personal stories, revealing her lonely Christmases. Tanaka lends Takaba his clothes after she spills a Christmas drink, and they exchange gifts. Takaba receives a teddy bear reminiscent of her childhood, and Tanaka witnesses her first genuine smile. Their connection deepens, and Takaba requests Tanaka's assistance with shopping. To show appreciation, they agree to split a potential lottery prize if they win. Takaba wins a lottery ticket for an island getaway, and they decide to travel together, leaving Tanaka both thrilled and uneasy. On the island, they postpone their beach plans due to complications. Takaba checks her suitcase, revealing she packed fun activities for Tanaka, touching his heart. As they spend more time together, Tanaka realizes his deepening love. On their final evening, a night hike and stargazing plan is foiled by heavy rain, forcing them to take shelter in a cave. Tanaka confesses his love, but Takaba requests he cover his eyes, explaining it's Valentine's Day, and women give chocolates to their loved ones. Tanaka watches classmates receive homemade chocolates, hoping for one, but is disappointed. A snowstorm forces Tanaka to stay at school, where Takaba gives him a chocolate and a letter explaining she can't accept his confession until after graduation. Graduation day arrives, marking the end of Tanaka's school journey. The protagonists gather, and while the men plan a trip, the women cook. Takaba gets dirty and changes clothes, confessing her love to Tanaka, explaining her previous restraint as his teacher and nurse. Overjoyed, they join the group, and the anime concludes with the newly formed couple and their friends planning a trip together.